government. Mark Thiessen is a former chief speechwriter for President George W. Bush, an American Enterprise Institute fellow, and a Fox News contributor. All right, Mark, so this group is clearly pushing to get rid of Benjamin Netanyahu and his government, and that's just not long after this guy worked to secure Barack Obama's re-election. Coincidence?
Absolutely, and it's a week after anonymous Obama administration officials threatened that Netanyahu would pay a price for having crossed the Obama administration and going directly to Congress on sanctions. And now the national field director of Obama's campaign, this is the guy who ran their entire Get Out the Vote effort in the 2012 elections, is working in Israel to oust Prime Minister Netanyahu from office. Now, maybe that's a coincidence. It's true that campaign operatives often go to foreign in the off season to make money. They go off and work on foreign elections. But it comes in the context of first these threats. All these anonymous threats have been going out there from people. I mean, the State Department just recently, a source close to Secretary Kerry said that he might lose his enthusiasm for defending Israel because of what Netanyahu is doing. And it turns out that the group that has hired this guy to oust Netanyahu, to change the status quo, as they call it, has received funding from the State Department. They list the State Department as one of their partners.
In connection with a different enterprise, though. So, but basically, this group has taxpayer money, and now they're working with this other group to try to get rid of Netanyahu. And the question is whether this is all a big coincidence or whether it puts the lie to, as the critics would say, the Obama administration's current claims that we don't want to interfere in the Israeli elections. And I just stand by because I asked Jen Psaki again about that claim last night, about why you don't want to interfere. You're not going to meet with Benjamin Netanyahu when he comes to America. I mean, this is kind of an important man who's really worried about something we're also worried about, Iran. And a little bit of that exchange.
The reason that they're not meeting, the president and the secretary aren't meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu, is it's really close to the election, and we feel it comes too close to the border of intervening in the election.
How can we just sort of suspend our discussions with, Prime Minister Netanyahu just because they're going to have an election in Israel soon?
To be clear, we're not at all suspending our conversations. We have ongoing dialogue with Israeli officials, including the Prime Minister, almost every day. Well, because having a meeting in the White House in the Oval Office is a bit different.
Well, why can't Secretary Kerry meet with him at State? Why does it have to be in the Oval Office?
We made a decision it just wasn't appropriate, given how close it is.
I mean, it's not like the State Department is sending this guy over. The only connection to the State Department is they funded a group that is funding a group that's trying to oust Netanyahu.
Sure, but Josh Earnest, this is what he said. The administration goes to great lengths to ensure that we don't even give the appearance of interfering or attempting to influence the outcome of a democratically held election in another country. Does having Obama's field operative go out there and run the campaign to defeat Netanyahu give the appearance of interfering?
Maybe he needs some extra dough.
He does, but would he be doing this if he didn't think that, if he thought it was going against the interests of Barack Obama? He knows that Barack Obama hates Netanyahu and would be very happy to see his government replaced. But the interesting thing about this, Megyn, is that all of this stuff, all these anonymous threats, sending their operatives out to defeat Netanyahu, it backfires on them, because the fact is Barack Obama's popularity in Israel is plummeting. Recent poll shows only 33% approve of Obama and 22% trust him on Iran. So when the Obama administration has all these anonymous quotes saying that they're going to get Netanyahu, and when they make a big deal about his coming to Congress and snub him and won't meet him, and they have an operative going out there to fight him, all of this helps Netanyahu. This is good for Netanyahu. He's standing up to the guy who doesn't want to protect Israel against a nuclear Iran. I don't see how this helps their cause.
He's in a tight race out there, so we'll continue to follow that too. Mark, good to see you.
Thanks, Megyn.
Well,